break that Redfern Oval. We'd love to be at Kensington Oval, but here we are at Redfern Oval for the 1989 A-grade Junior League Grand Final. The contestants, Kensington United and Mascot. Well, Kensington lining up for their 4th Grand Final in a row. In 88, a loss to Waterloo. In 1987, joint premiers with the All Blacks, and of course in 1986 they were defeated by Chelsea. Yet here they are again in 1989, ready to do battle with Mascot. They had a loss, of course, to Mascot in the major semi-final, 17 points to 16. Mascot going straight into the grand final. Then, of course, Kensington coming out winning the final against Moore Park in very dominating fashion, 40 points to 6. 21 years, of course, since Kensington have been outright premiers, and here I have as co-commentator Stinky Calden. Stinky, is today going to be the day? First time in 21 years to be outright premiers.
I'd say so, Paul. When you look at it, Kenso's certainly been the dominant team in the latter part of the 80s. This is our 4th grand final appearance. We've been successful up to a point in being joint premiers, as you mentioned, but surely with the side we can put on the paddock today, the depth on the bench, I think we've got to be firm favourites, despite the fact that we've got a 2-0 loss record against Mascot this season. But anyone who was here at the major semi-final, I think would agree that refereeing decisions played a big part in the upset win to Mascot, and I'm sure this side will be fired up to the max to get revenge and put our first outright premiership back to the club since when was it, Paul? 68 or 70?
1968.
68, yeah.
Well, the side for today, in the front row, Big Ken Buffer Smith, Paul Brown, hooker Robert Johnson. In the second row, Wayne Memo and Ronnie Sigsworth. Locking the scrum, Mark Kennedy. At halfback, Dave Clearland. 5'8", Warwick Lyons. In the centres, Stephen Longbottom and David Parker. On the wings, Wayne Edwards and George Longbottom. George Longbottom, of course, today plays his 100th game for Kensington. At fullback, Henry Gorbachev. Of course, there's plenty of depth, as Ray, you mentioned, on the bench. Players like Mudgee Lyons, Dennis Beaver, Darren Joseph, Les Tongahai, just to mention 4. And I'm sure there are plenty of A-grade sides who'd like to have those players in their team first up. Down on the sideline we have sideline Biff the Gay. What's it like down there amongst all the action sideline?
Well, it's a very exciting atmosphere down here, Paul. Kenso are very revved up. I haven't seen Mascot play this year, unfortunately. They reckon the halfbacks are one to stop. As I said, Kenso are revved up. They've got a better side this year to win and met Mascot in the last 2 games. I predict Kenso by 5 to 7 points.
Well, another fearless prediction by sideline Biff the Gay. And there's the kick-off by Mascot. Underneath it, Ronnie Sigsworth. He takes it 28 metres out. Straight off to unload, straight off to Wayne Memo. And he's tackled there by the Mascot defence. They go to the open side. The big buffer puts his head down and barges a couple of metres forward. Johnson into dummy half. Brown takes it up hard, but right around the ankles there, the Mascot defence. Johnson again in the dummy half. They come to the open side. Clearland, Warwick Lyons picks up Stephen Longbottom, but he's been in very solid defence there by the Mascot players.
Too early to be spreading the ball, Paul. We've got to soak a bit up first. This is a grand final.
Well, there's Gorbachev taking it up the centre. And he's tackled 30 metres out. Last tackle. They'll go for the kick. Dave Clearland gets his boot to the ball. Straight over the top of the Mascot winger. He had no chance to take that. A good kick there in the end by Dave Clearland. Well, let's hope his kicking game's as good as that right throughout the match. That was an excellent kick from Dave Clearland.
Linesman in too on the sideline. Paul, linesman's come in for some indiscretion. I couldn't pick it up before it happened.
Yes, 2 linesmen in. Number 6-4 Mascot, he's called out by the look of it.
Just while we got this break in play, Paul, I wanted you to, the viewers, to cast their minds back a couple of weeks. Mascot have got a very, very scheming halfback out there in Ray Byrne. Caused us all sorts of problems in the major semi-final. Let's see what sort of tactics Coach Gorman's come up with to nullify his impact today.
Yes, he had a mighty game against Kensington in the major semi-final. To look at the player, he looks as fat and as out of condition as Biff. But I tell you what, he's a hell of a footballer.
Yeah, I think he had good enough game in the major semi to justify putting a man on him. I mean, I've been putting a man on him all day as his sole job. We'll see if that unfolds.
Well, this scrum 35 metres out, be fed. There's one against the feet. It's knocked on by Dave Cleland. No. Referee not happy with that.
Dave Cleland wouldn't be happy with it either, even though he didn't get pinged for the knock-on.
I'm sure Dave, as the rest of the Kenso players, are primed for a big one. Mascot, their first touch of the ball. They work it, one pass off the ruck, Paul Brown, and around the ankles is Johnson, the hooker. They go to the open side. Once again, the Kensington defence equal to the task. Ronnie Sigsworth on that occasion. They work their way upfield gradually, Mascot. They come the blind side. Out of a tackle of Brown. The big buffer there goes for an intercept.
Well, Brown will want to put his shoulders into these tackles and not try and tackle with the arm. This is, you know, we want him to be out there taking some sting out of the Mascot forwards, not playing handsies with them.
Well, there's Gorbachev. Picks the ball up just inside his own 22. Makes it out just outside the 22. Sigsworth. Picks up Wayne Edwards. Wayne Edwards playing on the wing. Coming in to take a little bit of the workload off the forwards. We'll see plenty of that throughout the day as a big buffer bursts up the middle of the ruck there and makes a good 12 metre gain. Johnson does the wrap around with Sigsworth. Picks up Warwick Lyons. Warwick Lyons tackled right around the ankles there by the Mascot defence. Just inside their own half. The little chip kick through by Cleland. There's a bounce. It favours Dave Parker there, but he couldn't get the pass away, and it was a nice tackle in the end by the Mascot player. There's a Kensington player down in back play sideline, Biff.
Dell's down, mate. He got a hit right in the comics.
Well, he's up on his feet now. There's the evergreen trainer. Makes his way off the paddock.
Lovely down field kick on the last tackle there, Paul.
Yes, a lovely kick.
Put it in. It might have been Warwick Lyons, but it was a great kick.
Well, Kensington, a chance to attack here. Of course, Mascot have got the feed. Be a nice one to win against the feed, but look, it goes with the feed.
Oh.
Well, there's Byrne and Wayne Memo. Wayne Memo playing lock. We called him at second row, but he's playing lock. And away from the scrum base comes the Mascot halfback. A little bit of indecision there from the Mascot player as he made a couple of yards from the dummy half spot. Looked for a runner, but there was no one there. They hit it one pass off the ruck. Falling off a tackle there was the big buffer. Right around the ankles there.
Johnson.
Assisted by Sigsworth. They hit it a bit wider now, Mascot, but a good solid defence there. A little Warwick Lyons there on that occasion, upending the big Mascot player. They spin it out along the back line, but coming up too quickly there was Parker, and there's a big break there by the Mascot player. The winger's got the ball infield. The fullback there, the last line of defence, and a great tackle in the end there by Gorbachev.
Quality player, Henry. Doesn't do much wrong in the course of a game.
Well, that was caused by Parker coming up too quickly, and Mascot there on the boil. They're only 15 metres out.
Mark Kennedy, the culprit on that occasion, let his opposite number get inside him. Very unlike Mark. He doesn't make those sort of defensive mistakes.
Well, I don't like to see the look of that. There's the first ruck, and who takes it away from the dummy half spot on a handover was the fullback. The forwards have got to get in and work it up. They hit it the left-hand side of the paddock. Memo makes it to the 22. Kenso, they look a little bit disorganised at the moment. Now Dave Cleland gets the ball, puts the boot to the ballers. Good towering
kick.
Looks a
good kick, this.
This one bounces up nicely in the end for the Mascot fullback, and he takes it inside his own 22. There's Mark Kennedy there, right around the ankles, and Dave Parker effect the tackle. Away from the dummy half spot goes the Mascot player, and he made 7-8 metres there.
You wouldn't see Mark Kennedy let a dummy half runner go like that once in a million years. That's he's below par for mine so far.
Well, they've made it up to the halfway there in three play the balls, and Mascot, they work the right-hand side of the paddock, bouncing out of a tackle there is Sigsworth, but Brown and Kennedy there affect the tackle just inside Kensington territory. Mascot, they put the little kick through via Byrne. Back there's Gorbachev. The ball bounces up, and it's taken there by Wayne Edwards. Well, that looked a little dangerous there, I thought.
That was a quality kick from Byrne. He put that right into no man's land, and he confused the Kenso defence. They all got there simultaneously, and no one knew who to take it. He's a good footballer.
Well, there once again, Gorbachev, we find, taking the ball away from the dummy half spot.
That's a better run from
Brown. Big Brown powers his way upfield. He makes it almost to the halfway. But there's 3 Mascot defenders there to bring him to the ground. They're just inside their own territory, and Sigsworth picks up Memo.
Lovely ball
There's
from Memo.
on to Dowell's up and towards the 22. He's got support inside. He goes to the outside, gets it on to Longbottom slips. He's still going. He took the wrong option there. He should have paid it back inside, but it's still going, the ball.
Oh, definite mistake there. He had 2 men unmarked inside, Stephen, and was a try under the post. You don't turn the ball outside when you can score them under the black dot.
Well, they've still got the ball. They've still got an option here, and Dave Cleland puts the ball straight into the Mascot defence, and there, well, a try gone begging. Well, I don't know what got into Dowell there to turn the ball outside.
Possibly a call. We don't know. There could have been a call.
Well, I couldn't care if it was his mother on the outside calling for the ball. I mean, there was 2 players unmarked on the inside.
Wow.
Well, there's maybe...
It'll be Dowell, I think.
Stephen...
No, he's going to get Brown for this.
I'll tell you what, he's got the wrong bloke too. If he does get Brown, he's called Brown out. It was Dell. Dell's gone in with the forearm.
Well, he might have been venting a little bit of frustration there, Stephen. He probably realised that pass should have gone infield.
Yeah, how often do you see it? A mistake will bring on another mistake. Trying to make up for the original. Stephen trying to get involved in some defence.
Well, the penalty has gone to Mascot, and they've found touch 10 metres inside Kensington territory.
Gee, see, that looked like a class piece of football leading up to a try there. I don't know how they got out of jail, Mascot.
Well, we've got Mascot now on the attack inside Kensington half. They work at the blind side, but there's good solid defence there by the big buffer and Wayne Edwards. Big buffer, the player instrumental in driving the Mascot player over the sideline.
He's having a good game, Kenny Stone's making a lot of yards with the ball, and he's making the tackles count.
I don't think Kenny Stone's in the field, Ray.
Oh, I thought that was his name. What is his name? Kenny Smith.
Smith, we'll call him Smith. We'll settle
Kenny
on Smith. Buffer is a lot easier to remember. There's a... Well, there's a player down injured. Is it Little Warwick Lions? Yes, Little Warwick Lions very slow to his feet here. Once again, Gorbachev into the dummy half spot and makes only a couple of metres on that occasion. Well, that pass there, very dangerous, but it finally picked up by Wayne Memo.
Put that big break downfield previously on to Wayne Memo. He got a beautiful ball away early in that sequence of play.
Well, there's big Paul Brown tackle right on the halfway. 10 minutes gone in this first half of the grand final here between Kensington United and Mascot. 0-all the scoreline. Kensington on the attack. Dave Cleland once again goes for the kick. He puts it high in the air and coming through Sigsworth, but taken nicely there was the Mascot fullback. And right around the ankles, Mark Kennedy. Dave Cleland effect the tackle. Away from the dummy half spot that comes the Mascot player.
Oh, stupid mistake. What a silly mistake that was by Brown. He just lifted his foot up and placed it on the guy's head. Didn't move one hair on his head, but he's got himself 10 minutes in the sin bin. Dumb football.
Don't be surprised if he gets himself a game. Bull might replace him. Silly things like that. Wake up, mate.
Well, I didn't see the incident. Missed it completely, but I'll have to go on your resume there. It would definitely be a very dumb thing to spend 10 minutes in the sin bin in a grand final. Kensington now will do it very hard for the next 10 minutes, down to 12 players.
Oh.
There's Sigsworth cops an elbow from Byrne. Well, a little bit of spite creeping into the game now. Well, Sigsworth runs straight at Byrne. Byrne put the elbow up, and Sigsworth now is on the deck.
And Bilton, through his strange way of reasoning, has found a penalty 5 yards away from that incident to square up. Bilton's a strange referee. I can't figure him out. He's just given us a dead set square up for Sigsworth getting an elbow in the jaw.
I'll go one further. I say he's bloody hopeless.
He doesn't look too good, Sigsworth, either, mate. He doesn't look too well at all. And you can blame the linesman down there. He hasn't got his eye on the job either. That was very blatant.
Well, here's Wayne Edwards taking it up strongly. But the defensive Mascot there, very strong defence from Mascot. Yards are hard to come by. But there's Ronnie Sigsworth, toughest teak. He's up.
Mascot are on a bit of a roll. Their forwards are starting to surge.
Yeah, a little bit of
in the tackle.
Little bit of sting going in, a little bit of swish as Dave Cleland takes it up. steps into a bit of trouble there. He'll get up and play it. 35 metres out. Johnson, they spin it wide. Memo puts a little kick through. Here comes Stephen Longbottom through. The winger's back there for Mascot, and Stephen Longbottom claims him a couple of metres out from the Mascot line.
Useful kick, that.
Well, they've got to keep them down there now. Mascot 10 metres out. They work at the open side. Over the top there, Sigsworth. Underneath and limping out of that tackle is Robert Johnson. Once again, they come the open side. Little Warwick lines right around the ankles, and over the top, Mark Kennedy. They've got to pin them down in this area. Byrne, the danger man. He gets a good pass onto his support. Out of a tackle. He's out of another tackle there. Gorbachev here at the last line of defence. Wayne Edwards, nearly a miraculous pass there from the Mascot player, but Mark Kennedy back there to fall on the ball.
Good football from Mark Kennedy. He got down to the ground very fast to tie that loose ball up. And, a bit of panic coming
Where's
here from
Georgie Longbottom? He pings the ball, gets it on to Johnson. Johnson wasn't expecting that, but from a standing start, he's made good metres up the centre of the field. He's got it on to Kenny Smith. Big buffer, heads up field. He's only about 35 metres out. Kensington on the attack.
Must spread it now.
They spin it. Gorbachev juggles. He's flung to the ground by the Mascot defence. Away from the dummy half comes Cleland. He's a bit kick-happy today. Will this one come off? The fullback's missed it. Back there, and Cleland, can he ping him? No, he gets out into the field of play.
Well,
good work there by the fullback, and they're still going Mascot. A high tackle there from Sigsworth. Out of that, and they make it back to the 22. Good work there by the Mascot players. Poor defence by Kensington.
Yeah, poor defence in the first place from Dave Cleland. He was never going to get to the ball. He should have been sweating on the Mascot player. As soon as he touched the ball, he should have been on him. Somehow he got away without getting a hand put on him.
Well, two tackles. They've made the 40 metres upfield. Here they are up to the halfway. Kensington defence. Shot to pieces at the moment as Mascot. They're on the attack. Right around the ankles there was Gorbachev. The last line of defence once again. Byrne heads across field. Looks for a runner. Gets a short ball. Well, they've lost the ball there.
Yep.
Well, this will be a scrum just outside the 22. Well, the Kensington defence.
Oh, it doesn't look good, Paul. There's holes everywhere. Holes all over the paddock.
Yeah, down here on the sideline, mate, I see Mascot in tackles. They're throwing their feet about in tackles. Bit of spite settling in the game here, I think. What we've got to do is accommodate them. I don't think Kenso have got the mongrels in the side to do it. That's what we need.
Well, there's a hold up in play here. Mascot player down.
I like that word, Paul, accommodate them from the sideline. Very well put. That's what we've got to do exactly. We've got to accommodate these Mascot forwards. We've got to more than accommodate them, we've got to dominate them.
Well, there's a scrum feed by Dave Cleland, straight in the second row. Out the Warwick lines.
Beautiful
onto Stephen Longbottom. They've got the overlap. Here's Gorbachev. That's Parker. Up to Georgie Longbottom. He's got open space in front of him, and he's
got Parker inside. Oh, no!
He's done the step inside. Well, I think he's still going, George. He's still going. Here he goes. Light footing it up the paddock. Georgie Longbottom. He's finally claimed 15 metres out.
Well, Bilton saw the head-eye tackle on Longbottom there, but he didn't rule on it. What's he doing?
Well, it's playing the advantage, I should hope. Well, I thought Longbottom should have just pinned the ears back then. I think he would have scored. And here's nice Gorbachev onto Wayne Edwards. Heads for the corner. He steps inside. He'll score. Oh, great try to Wayne Edwards. Don't do anything silly, Wayne. You've scored the 4-pointer. Just give him a giggle. 4 points to nil. 15 minutes into the first half. Kensington draw first blood. A good try there. Good ball away by Henry Gorbachev. And Wayne Edwards did the rest. Good, strong try by Wayne Edwards.
With 12 men, I might add too, Paul. We're starting to throw the ball around. The gaps were there. Quick play the balls. We've just got to keep this roll on going now.
Yes, we've been rubbish in the Kensington defence, but of course they're doing it hard. They've only got the 12 players out there, Ray. We've been giving them a bit of swish.
Yeah, that had slipped my mind, to tell you the truth. No wonder there's holes up the middle. They're a man down. But hasn't this Warwick line's been a revelation? The way he sets his back line in motion, he's got beautiful hands.
Yes, and a great final pass from Henry Gorbachev. Call him Gorbachinkachov. I don't care what you call him, sideline Biff, but it was a great pass.
Henry Grabinchikov.
Grabinchikov, that's it. Get the name right, because you're going to hear a lot more of him.
Well, here's Stephen Longbottom. Not an easy kick. We're right behind the kick here.
Well, Paul Brown's just come to the sideline. One of the coaching staff down there just reading the riot act to him. No more mistakes, Paul.
In all fairness to Paul, as soon as he made that indiscretion, he knew he'd done wrong, and he's very, very sorry for it.
Well, Biff, you're down there, mate. You'd know exactly how he feels, of course.
Well, what price Dal to put this one over? He's been kicking them from wide angles with monotonous regularity. Bit of a hush comes over the ground. No wind to speak of. This will be a true kick.
Well, Stephen Longbottom, an excellent goal kicker. He moves in. He's put that one away to the left. Never in the hunt, that one. The scoreline remains 4 points to 0 in favour of Kensington.
Well, our breaks have been coming out wide every time we spread the ball. We're looking good, but still this young old halfback for Mascot, Byrne, continues to dominate. He's put players away left, right and centre already in the first 20 minutes. I noticed Dave Cleland all over him like a rash. Whenever Dave's been down, Byrne's been awake up to it and he's weaved his magic.
Well, right under this kick, the restarter plays. Henry Gorbachev heavily involved. I don't think I've seen a fullback more heavily involved in the opening 20 minutes of a game.
No, he's done a lot of dummy half running, hasn't he? He's done a lot of the softening up work.
There's Wayne Memo, caught just outside the 22. They go to the blind side. Sigsworth steps off the left foot. Makes a good 8 or 9 metre gain there. Couldn't get a ball away to Robert Johnson on the fly, and he'll get up and play the ball. Cleland, Warwick Lyons,
again.
Stephen Longbottom. Yes, they've got the numbers, but Stephen Longbottom opts to dummy and go himself.
Can't be critical, Paul. We're down their own end of the field. This is a grand final. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not complaining on that occasion. There was not much room for the winger to work in, and there was plenty of defence coming across. Well, that kick out on the full.
First missed kick from Cleo.
I've got to have another swig on the can there. The nerves are frazzled at the moment. Because Mascot, they've got the ball. But nowhere to go there for the 5'8", Thomas. Good tackle there, right around the ankles there, and he cops a kick in the face for his troubles there. It was Mark Kennedy.
And on the sideline, Paul Brown coming back on the field now.
Well, Kensington now, their full complement.
Mark Kennedy starting to find his mark in defence. His timing was a bit astray early, but he's starting to find the mark now.
There's a good tackle there by Robert Johnson and the big buffer. Mascot inside the 22, right in centre paddock. They do the run around, but good solid defence there. That was Mark Kennedy again. And Robert Johnson involved in that tackle. They're 20 metres out. They go for the kick. It's off the side of the boot.
It's gone backwards.
But, it's gone backwards, and it's straight into the hands of Kensington player, but he couldn't handle it. It's knocked back. It's play on. Warwick Lyons has got the ball, and he's tackled on the 22. Well, that would have been dangerous, Ray.
That was big yards, mate. Big yards. If Parker pulled that one in, that was big yardage.
Well, there's Mark Kennedy wrestling his way 3 or 4 metres upfield. He'll get up and play the ball. Johnson in the dummy half. He spins at the open side. Stephen Longbottom tries to burst through the tackle, but the Mascot player there equal to the task. He'll get up and play the ball just on the 22. Dave Cleland heads across field. Runs behind Sigsworth. But nowhere to go there.
Steve Longbottom having a fine game in the open. He's shown the benefit of all these grand finals he's played in over the last few years.
Big buffer there did some good work there to get the ball away to Johnson, but Johnson couldn't get the final pass away, and there's Gorbachev, puts his boot to the ball.
Not a thing wrong with that kick. That's a good ground
and he chases.
Kick.
It's in the in-goal area.
It's just not going to go. Yes, it's just gone dead. It's just rolled dead in goal. The Mascot player running up for a quick 22-metre tap.
Well, that was very, very close. He waited right to the last minute, the Mascot player, and the ball just rolling over the dead ball line as Mascot now make a good 15-metre run there.
I'd just like to see Henry get back a little bit quicker in his position of full back. He seems to be slow getting back.
Little Warwick Lyons was trampled over the top of there by the big Mascot front rower, and there's Byrne again turning the ball back inside, but the Kensington defence there, Dave Cleland, Robert Johnson plays it forward straight into Wayne Edwards and Mark Kennedy. As you said, Mark Kennedy now getting through a power of tackling now. They spin it out through the 5/8, gets a one-hander back to Byrne. Byrne bounces out of a tackle. No, he can't get away from Wayne Edwards. He's got him by the leg and he won't let go. They go to the open side. Gilbert Ferguson puts the boot to the ball, but Gorbachev's back there, takes it nicely. Gilbert Ferguson comes in, affects the tackle.
And once again, Gorbachev gets a slap around the chops for his trouble. They got high shoulders, these Kenso players.
Well, they had a few words as they got up and confronted each other there, Gilbert and Henry Gorbachev. As the big buffer heads straight up the middle of the field, he gets a one-hander away to Johnson, who wasn't ready for that, but he picked it up, got it off to Wayne Memo. Wayne Memo makes it up to the 22. 12 minutes to go in the first half of this 1989 A-grade grand final, and there's Dave Clearland, puts the boot to the ball.
Kick, Paul.
I think this one will find touch. No, it bounces infield.
Well, it's something to do with the way Dave's kicking the ball. They're all breaking left.
Well, there's 5-6 chasers there. Warwick Lyons and Dave Parker.
Yeah, Dave should be
Dave
bringing
Clearland.
off the right-hand side of his...
Ronnie Sigsworth, all involved in that tackle.
Torpedo kick will do it.
Well, there's Mark Kennedy right around the ankles again. Byrne, they do the wrap around. Picks up a runner out wide, but right around the ankles there was Wayne Memo, and over the top, the big buffer.
Byrne's still getting too much latitude. You know, someone could have been committed to him then, even though he did pass the ball. He should have finished on the seat of his pants. Not a hand put on him. He's getting far too much latitude.
Well, there was another good tackle by Mark Kennedy. There's a long pass there. Picks up Gilbert Ferguson. He tries to get a pass away, but, well, he's ruled a knock on.
As Ray was saying, Byrne is getting too much latitude. He should have got attention in the first 5 minutes, not now.
Be interesting to see who feeds this scrum. To my way of thinking, it's got to be a Kenso feed.
You never know with referee Bilton.
Cleo's very confident. He's standing there with a football.
Well, away from the scrum base goes Memo, but the Mascot defence, they're awake to it. The old chestnut, the lock forward breaking with the ball, didn't work on that occasion as Sigsworth stands in the tackle, gets the pass away to Mark Kennedy, leaps in the air to take that one, and he bullocks his way another 3 or 4 metres forward. He'll get up and play the ball 35 metres out. Johnson into dummy half, picks up Brown on the fly, but the Mascot defence there crunched him. Dead in his tracks, and they spin it out the back line. Warwick Lyons picks up Stephen Longbottom. He picks up Parker. Parker can't get away from Gilbert Ferguson. He drives into the ground in a great tackle. They're 35 metres out. Gorbachev shows the ball, dummies, heads across field, but the Mascot, 4 players come in over the top. Nowhere for him to go there. Johnson, dummy half. Dave Clearland puts the ball in the air. This one, up, taken nicely there by the fullback.
He's got Sigsworth for offside.
Well, that must have been marginal.
Ronnie certainly thought he was onside, Paul. He got to put in a good, strong chase, and he had no thought of hanging back the 5. He was straight after that ball.
Yes, well, he had no hesitation. He went straight through, and he went straight for the fullback. He didn't hold back.
Yeah,
so obviously thought he was onside.
No, you just say you don't know what referee Bilton's going to do.
Well, that was a let off for Mascot. Well, Mascot now, they're 35 metres out. And they've got the ball. Away from the dummy half spot.
Dummy half sneak, bad defence. We had 2 markers there and let him go.
Yeah, 5 or 6 metres made there from the dummy half spot, and I'm sure Coach Bull Gorman will have a few words to say to the Kensington players about their dummy marker defence. As Mascot straight up the centre of the field, chased there by Ronnie Sigsworth. A good diving tackle, but poor defence in the early part of that. And there's Byrne again, looking for a runner. Wayne Edwards comes in. Gilbert Ferguson.
He's got it forward pass, the last pass forward, but again, we see Ray Byrne running crossfield, picking out runners, and he's not being put on the seat of his pants. I don't care if he got rid of the ball 10 minutes ago. He's got to go down.
Particularly running across field. He's an open target for any player.
Brown bleeding profusely down here. He's come off the field. A very, very bad gash on Paul Brown.
Yes, it's a head gash. And there's 2 bald heads looking at him very intently there. Well, once again, Kensington down to 12 players. But he looks like he's leaving the field.
No replacement going out at this stage. Looks like Brown could be getting a bit of attention and coming back. With big Dennis Beaver on the bench, I don't see the wisdom in that, although the coach and staff are now taking some action.
There again, you see Mascot latching out their feet. The referee got them this time. This keeps up, they'll have to get the sin bin.
Well, there's no movement on the bench.
No, I think they're waiting for a report on Brown.
Well, it's got to be a head bin job for a start, mate, so we can put replacements on for
We
10
don't
minutes.
have head bins in the Junior League,
Biff.
sideline, Biff.
My mistake, I'm sorry.
That's why you're down there and we're up here. As they head upfield there through Sigsworth.
I should have.
Cleland picks up the big buffer. He's met there with pretty eager defence there from the Mascot players. They're 35 metres
stuck
out.
on the blind side. I saw Memo moving off early there.
They come the blind side, but nowhere to go. Memo tried to get a one-hander away, but it's cleaned up there in the end by Gorbachev, but he'll rule the knock on.
Well, Kenso's ball control's been pretty good up to this date. That's one of the few mistakes they have made with the ball. They've had the better of the game territorially. The only thing that's letting them down are these big 50, 60, 70-yard breaks that Mascot seem to be making up the middle. Even after Brown came back on, we had a full complement of players. We see Byrne putting players away at will.
Well, there's one against the feed.
A good result there.
Wayne Edwards comes in, takes it straight up the centre of the field. Well, Kensington, they've got about 7 minutes. Can they get some extra points on the board? Wayne Edwards gets up and glares at Byrne.
Well, he glared at him because he nearly lost the ball there.
Warwick lines, he's straight up, he'll score, will he? Warwick lines.
Men outside.
He's got support, but he goes himself and he's taken a metre from the line.
Kenso should score on the blind next ruck.
Well, if they ping it that way, they will. Gorbachev goes from the dummy half spot, he's over. Well, you never know. No, he's not, he must be inches short.
Well, defence set now. Kenso will just have to work.
Well, there's a play of the ball at...
last tackle.
Didn't give the dummy half any chance there. There's a kick through and it's taken in the in-goal area.
Good quick thinking from Johnson. We had nothing on against set defence. Last tackle, he's made a line drop out of it. We'll get the ball back.
5 minutes.
6-4 to Kenso, so we've got 12 men in the field. Going by what's been happening, we should get another try on.
Well, I can see a few nervous looks from the bench down there, Paul. Big Dennis Beaver thinks that he should be going on. I think he's looking up.
Oh, mate, he'd be itching in the jog strap at the moment, Big Dennis. He wants to get on that paddock.
I don't think they'll bring Paul off yet. He might be getting a couple of stitches. You don't run on your head. And we've got there is a replacement. Dennis Beaver is going on.
A big Dennis Beaver, and he'll love it.
Well, Dr. Death's come out of the tunnel, Gabby, and he said, I can't close that hole. It's far too big. We've put 20 stitches in it. It's still bleeding. You'll have to put someone else on.
Well, Big Dennis Beaver now will take the field. 5 minutes to go in this first half. Mascot will win this scrum, and they have Ray Byrne away from the scrum base. Once again, they stand and look at him, watch him throw that. That was a grab around the neck area.
They're stuffing around with Beaver's headgear. He should go on without it. It's not going to help him any.
Yes, well, it's not going to spoil his good looks. He cops a whack around the chin. But Mascot, 5 minutes to go in this first half, and Gilbert Ferguson takes the ball up and runs into the big buffer.
Go on, Beaver!
All right, the big Beaver now takes the field. Mascot, try to keep the ball away. There's a loose ball picked up there by Mascot, cleaned up. And they're 40 metres out from the Kensington line. We're inside the last 5 in this first half. They've got the overlap here, but the Mascot players taking the ball back in centre field.
Can he once
again, they're short on this side. Byrne sees it. He's up the field. Oh, a last-ditch tackle there by...
How did Mark Kennedy... You're going to find Mark Kennedy come up with this ball. Great football,
yes.
Mark.
Well, it was good work there in the end by Wayne Edwards. He had 3 players coming at him, and he just managed to get hold of Byrne's boot.
Yeah, it was a good tackle from Edwards. As you say, he had plenty of heads thrown at him.
And there's a poor pass, and it goes back to Georgie Longbottom. Georgie Longbottom ducks under a high tackle there. They go to the left-hand side of the paddock, and there's the Memo. Tries to get that one-handed pass around. Not on inside your own quarter, young fella. That was only the second tackle. Well,
George down too, mate.
George Longbottom down. Mascot continue to pile on the pressure.
Good tackle from Sigsworth. Killed that ball in its tracks.
Here they go once again. Here's Byrne again. Picks up the runner. They're standing back. They've got the overlap, and in comes beautiful tackle there by Wayne Edwards. He's got to talk to his centres. He's got to call them out.
Well, I think maybe... Oh, he's just fallen for a big dummy there. Play on, says it.
Oh, he's kicked it dead.
Yeah, the referee's fallen for the con there, but maybe it's better to have 2 points against us than 4.
Well, here's George Longbottom hobbling from the field. Well, there's Tonga High. Well, that's not a bad replacement to have, but of course Kensington now have used up 2 replacements.
Just have a look down on the sideline, Paul. Can you see Biff jumping up and down there?
Yes.
He's man.
He's got a smile on his face like a split watermelon.
The man who can walk on water's about to come on the field.
Well, a sorry day for George on his...
This is your big chance. Don't let me down, mate.
A sorry day for George, his 100th game, and he hobbles from the field. Well, he would have been primed for a big one, George.
We all know George has had chronic leg problems over the years and probably curtailed his career at the top level, actually. He's done well to get back on the paddock at all, and I was surprised when I heard you give that stat, Paul, that Paul's played 100 games for Kenso, that George has played 100 games, and along with you and me and a lot of other old Kenso boys, it's good to have him in the club.
I just spoke to George coming off, mate. It's a hamstring.
Hamstring injury. Well, there's no 2 minutes to go in this first half. There's a relatively easy kick here. The Mascot player, he moves in, and that's straight between the posts. The scoreline 4 points to 2 in favour of Kensington.
It's all very well to say what could have been, but when you look at that scoreboard and you see 4-2 instead of 16-2 with 2 certain tries bombed, it makes you wonder.
Well, there's about a minute to go. Mascot should control the ball for these next 6 tackles, and that'll see out half-time. There's the ball, high in the air.
That's a good kick.
Taken in the in-goal area by Byrne. Comes out, tries to step around the Big Beaver, but the Big Beaver drives him into the ground, assisted by Buffer.
Finally, we see Byrne's head hit the turf. That's what we've been looking for.
Heads across field there, the Mascot runner. Easy pickings for Ronnie Sigsworth. The Big Beaver here once again involved in this tackle, eager to get into the game. He was dirty for not being selected in the first upside. He was keen to get on there. Now's his chance. They
stripped him.
Well, unfortunately, the ball knocked on when he knocked that ball from his hand.
Bad luck, Big Dennis. That would have given us a last hurrah before half-time, a scrum feed there, but hang on, he's reeled a Kenso feed anyway.
Yeah, knock on by Mascot first up, so it's still Kenso's feed. A try could be on here with Henry coming in the back line.
Where's Byrne?
How far offside was Byrne in that ruck?
We put a red and white jumper on him. I know he did trial with us, but
he hasn't let him play the ball at any stage. If that's not a penalty, I don't know what is.
Yeah, but you must realise it's Bilton refereeing, or attempting to referee, as Gorbachev, he heads across field. Johnson away from the dummy half spot, gets a ball onto Sigsworth. Sigsworth back inside of the Big Beaver, backing up.
Well, right on the stroke of half-time, we're going to see one backline play, I think, before the bell goes.
Well, Johnson's taken the option for the little kick through. And
Johnson's got to let his teammates know what's going on. There were no chasers there. Nobody had any idea that kick was on.
No.
Right on the stroke of half-time, we needed a backline feed there.
Well, the scoreline 4 points to 2 at half-time as the players leave the paddock.
Yeah, there was a bit of individual play by Robert Johnson there. I think I would have been getting set for a field goal. They've got the clock over there. They can have a look and see what's going on. They knew it was right at half-time. A field goal would have come in very handy.
Well, we'll be back with all the action in the second half. Well, the Kensington players have made their way back onto the paddock for the start of the second half. Sideline Biff, no changes?
No changes at half-time, Paul. It's a pity Paul Brown's off. We had a move on for him in their 25, but I don't know if anybody's going to take his place. I don't be surprised to see Steve Fisher come on sometime in the second half.
Down in the dressing room, Stinky Calden.
Yeah, just come from the dressing room, Paul. Well,
sounds like you did.
Yes, the instructions at half-time were short and not too succinctly put. In fact, I haven't heard Coach Gorman put a point across so forcefully all year. They've got to tackle if they want to win this game of football, and they've got to play it down the right end. He wants commitment from his forwards. He wants to see them lift another 50% in defence. He wants to see them driving them back in defence, and he wants to play the game down the other end of the paddock. He was not too keen to concentrate on the mistakes in the first half, although he made mention of them, but they're past now. He's told his players to dig deep for 35 minutes and they'll win this game. If they've got any character, in his own words, he said, if you've got any character, now's the time to bring it out. So that's what we want to see.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised to see Michael Lyons take the field sometimes when the defence gets tired in the second half, Paul.
Yes, well, there's 35 minutes to go in this grand final, and there's a great kick-off, a great start to the second half.
Of course, it'll be a Mascot feed, but we're going to have field position, and that's if I've ever heard Coach Gorman put a point across at half-time that he wanted to get the message through, that was it. He's disgusted, I think, it would be the right word.
Well, there's a scrum win to Mascot, as expected, and breaking very quickly from that scrum was the big Beaver. And here he goes again, the big fella, right around the ankles, and over the top there is Wayne Memo. Mascot, they work the open side in front of the posts. The big buffer comes in there, Mark Kennedy. And Robert Johnson climbs out from underneath that tackle. They come the grandstand side. Byrne, this time he puts the boot to the ball. I think they've got a slight breeze behind them this half, sideline, Biff.
There's a very slight breeze down here. Mascot by using the kick downtown, and we just got to have our wiggers dropping back for it.
Well, here comes Les Tongahai. Across field he goes, but no ground there made whatsoever.
But look at the bloke who tried to tackle him, Paul. He's not moved.
Not looking too well. Well, what he made up, or what he lacked in the yardage there, he made up in hurting the defence as Warwick Lyons heads upfield. Down on the Tongahai.
Look.
Well, he had the centre Parker outside him unmarked, but he failed to look to the left, and he's taking the tackle 20 metres out. The big Beaver heads straight towards the post, the big fella. Tries to get the arms free. They can't put him on the ground.
This is where we should be going for a field goal.
Dave Cleland goes for the field goal.
Well, it's come off a Mascot player's shoulder, Paul. It's ruled no. It went between the posts, but a Mascot player got a hand to it. It'll be a line drop out. Well, Les Tongahai down in back play. I don't know what's going wrong with out wide today, but that's the third time we've had a try there, a bread and butter try, and the player hasn't got the ball away to his support.
Well, Mascot taking their time with the restart of play. There's the kick.
Well,
Sigsworth allows it to bounce off Gorbachev's knee. He picks it up inside his own half.
Referee Bilton's just come up with one of his famous refereeing judgments. It went nowhere near his hand. He trapped it off his thigh, and Bilton's deemed it to be a knock-on.
Well, as I said, the gentleman, and I use that term rather loosely, has no idea of how to referee.
I won't lose it loosely. He's a wanker. That was definitely off his doing the replay.
I was going to call him a quit of the far variety.
I call him consistent. He's consistently stupid.
Well, let's not bag the referees. Let's watch the game. Let's enjoy the game if we can, if he allows us to enjoy the game. Mascot now, they're on the attack. They up to the 22, the big Beaver over the top, and underneath, yes, of course, Mark Kennedy crawls out from underneath. Must be his 78th tackle.
Well, Mascot's whole game revolves around this halfback, as we know, but also it revolves around the edge of the ruck. They don't seem to spread the ball very much. They concentrate on mistake-free football, getting a yardage game going and keeping the ball in tight to the rucks. Well, I've got to say, it's working to some extent. They're getting good yardage.
Well, Bilton picked up that little knock on there by the Mascot player.
No fullback at home for Mascot here with a Kenso feed. Dangerous. Should be a kick from the scrum.
Dave Cleland away from the scrum base, runs straight into Gilbert Ferguson. Gorbachev away from the dummy half spot. Well, honestly, I can't believe I've never seen a fullback run from dummy half as many times as Henry Gorbachev.
It's got to be a part of their game plan, Paul. They've got to have been coached to do it. I say that's 6 to my recollection. He's run it up.
6, you must have blinked a few times.
Well, he's probably run up more, but I mean, it's got to be something they've done at training to take the pressure off their forwards.
Well, there's Sigsworth there, tried to step, but straight into the defence. They go to the open side via the big buffer. The big buffer hits the defence, tries to get a pass away. It's knocked back by Johnson. Dave Cleland almost out of a tackle there. He's still going, Dave Cleland. Heads across field, steps almost into the clear there, but nice tackle in the end, right around the ankles, and he's tackled right on the halfway. Sigsworth into dummy half, on away from the dummy half spot he goes. Steps, makes good, 8-10 metres. Good run from Ronnie Sigsworth. Where's the back line?
Nice
Les
and deep.
Tongahai coming in, but I'd suggest they'd have been better off using the back line there. They had them lined nice and deep, and there's an overlap there if they use it.
Winger, Mascot winger.
Spin it
just
to the
driving
right.
defence
They've
across.
gone the left-hand side. Well, they had the overlap on the right-hand side. They've gone left, and there was the result. Wayne Memo crunched in a tackle. This time they go the right-hand side. Warwick Lyons, he puts a
It's
little
a
kick
handy
through.
kick there.
Stephen Longbottom coming through, and he affects the tackle there.
It's obvious the referee didn't see Warwick fell to the play either.
Well, it's a little bit much to expect.
Or either of the linesmen.
Well, it looks like Mudgee Lyons making his way onto the paddock now with 30 minutes to go in this game. Mudgee Lyons can do anything.
Kenso forwards not moving up in defence. They waited there. They waited on the 5-metre line and paid the penalty. A 25-metre gain from Mascot.
Well, they've come the open side here. They've put the kick through. Thank Christ for that, because they had a massive overlap there, although it does fine touch. Well, they had an overlap on this grandstand side then, Raymond, and Byrne that time opted for the kick.
Michael Lyons just getting a bit of grease, Paul. I think Coach Gorman's decided to use him a little bit earlier than he would have liked. I'm sure he would have liked the defence to get a bit tired. He is an impact player. He's very good in traffic. Gee, he should cut this tired defence to ribbons.
Yes, well, Mudgee Lyons taking the field. Looks like a young Warwick Lyons. He's done his job.
Yeah, Warwick coming off.
I can
Little
only think
Warwick
that's an
leaves the
injury.
field. Great game from young Warwick Lyons.
I can only think he's injured unless the coaching staff want to put on more attack, I guess. But, gee, the way Warwick Lyons has been feeding that back line, I think he's had a terrific game.
Les Tongahai comes into the back line. Bang, straight into the fullback, and they're inside the 5. Penalty to Kensington.
Well, it must have occurred to Bilton before the scrum that rule had come in this year, and he had a look for it.
It's marvellous when we get the penalties. We've got 5 tackles to go. We're down here 25.
Well, a found touch. 15 metres short of the halfway.
Looks like a set-piece move on here.
They do the double crossover. They pick up the back line, and Mudgee Lyons gets his first touch of the ball. But the defence right onto Mudgee Lyons on that occasion.
Defence was more interested in taking his head off than putting him on the ground.
There goes Wayne Memo. He heads across field. Oh, Dave Cleland on the fly there, but he couldn't get the ball away. Johnson skips across field, gets the ball inside to Mark Kenny. He couldn't handle it, and Mascot come up with the ball. A couple of metres inside Kensington territory.
This will cost us in yards, I think.
Well, that could be a costly mistake.
Well, Lyons gets a get square on the player for doing the same thing that he had done to him. Of course, Bilton didn't pick the first one up, but he sure picked this one up.
Well, obviously, Mudgee had to leap a little bit higher than the Mascot player did when they did the same, and a little bit more obvious.
Yeah.
Well, this will give Mascot the chance to mount some pressure on the Kensington defence. They're about 25 metres out.
I want to see a bit of killer from these forwards. If we're going to win this match, we've got to see a bit of killer from the forwards.
Well, Mascot still, they're just outside the 22. They come the open side. Gilbert Ferguson under a tackle there of Mudgee Lyons. They're right on the 22. Mascot, they continue. Ray from the dummy half spot there, and they've made good yards there. Mascot, the defence.
Even when the Mascot three-quarters get the ball, they're getting it one pass off the ruck. They haven't moved the ball more than 2 passes off the ruck all day, but look at their field position. They're running right through our forwards.
Right in centre field. Byrne out of a tackle. He's skipping across field. He's the danger man. Out of a tackle. He did this in the major semi-final.
Well, Sigsworth's
taken out. Taken out, but Bilton didn't see that. As I said, he's a definite quit.
Now,
where's Robbie
right.
McDonald when you need him?
Fair enough. Bilton might not have seen that, but why can't the linesman see it?
Mate, he's standing there like a stunned mullet.
What's wrong with you on the sideline, you bullhead?
As we were saying,
Flaps mess up.
Kenso have got the ball. They work it up the centre of the paddock, and there's Wayne Edwards takes it up. He's up to his feet rather slowly. Not very often you see Wayne Edwards.
Are you getting a bit excited, Paul?
No, mate. The heart's going 2,000 miles an hour here. We've got 2 players down. We're leading 4 points to 2. There's 10 minutes gone in this second half, and we're inside our own quarter. No, I'm not excited at all.
A very smart little switch of play from Johnson there. Oh, poor kick, poor kick.
Well, it'll be a Mascot feed. right in centre field, and we've got a player down.
There's a few fundamental mistakes coming in here, Paul. That was a second tackle. You're down. If you're going to kick on a second tackle, it's a downtown kick for yardage. You're not kicking for the touchline. No point kicking for the touchline and putting the ball out on the halfway, even if it had been a good kick. You must kick deep for ground.
Well, I'm not going to argue with her as Mascot. Down the blind side they go. Wayne Edwards is hobbling. He's a passenger at the moment. Mascot, they've had 2 tackles. They're inside the 22. Byrne picks up the lock forward. He's out of 1 tackle there of Mark Kennedy. He continues to go forward. He's only metres from the line. Can the Kensington defence, can it withhold the pressure?
Well, they've held him out for 15 tackles so far.
They do the run around. There's a lost ball. Gorbachev falls on it. Oh, and he's on the deck, and in he comes.
Well, Bilton says fair enough. The player was on the deck and he was hit with a shoulder charge. Fair enough.
Well, it didn't hurt him. Henry's up, he's going all right. But Bilton, doesn't he leave a lot to be desired as a referee? I don't care whether we win, lose or draw the game. My opinion will not change of referee Bilton.
One's gone our way there. And Cleland's taken a quick tap on his own quarter.
Well, I don't know why. Centre field, surely we've got a kicker who can find the sideline and make 20 metres, but anyway.
What they've got to realise is when the opposition see you doing silly things like that, they know you're rattled and they grow a foot.
There's the big buffer. He heads upfield. Good ground there made by the big fella. Well, we haven't spent much time in Mascot's half this half. Mudgee Lyons puts a little kick through and he's going to get the bounce, will he?
No good.
Well, he's got... Well, there's Mudgee Lyons down now.
We've spent the entire half, the second half, defending, and they want a chip kick short in their own territory. It's just no good.
Well, Mudgee Lyons hasn't moved. This could be a serious injury.
Yeah, he's holding his knee, mate. It doesn't look good at all. Doesn't look good at all. And also, Kenso have used up 3 replacements. This is going to be a guts game now for Kenso.
Calling for the stretcher.
Well, Mudgee Lyons, he got the... Well, this is a tragedy.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, all right. I hope it's not too serious an injury, but either way, he's coming off. Warwick Lyons is running on. He can't possibly be the replacement, but...
No, he's going on to see...
just check his condition. I think the coaches here were forced. Their hand was forced. Kenso needed more attack. I'm sure he wanted to hold Lyons back to use him against tied defence, but he was forced to put him into the game early, and now he's paid the penalty. Lyons will be making a quick exit.
I'm just wondering now whether we might be forced to shuffle in one. Dell comes into the 5'8" spot. Maybe Henry will move up into the centres and Darren Joseph going to fullback. That's my supposition.
Well, young Mudgee Lyons.
I know what I'd be doing
definitely
here.
Seriously injured. It's possibly a broken leg. He hasn't moved.
It doesn't look good. I'd be using one of the creative forwards, i.e. Johnson or Sigsworth, in at 5'8", using them as a link man and putting on a bit more defence in the forwards. The unfortunate part, the downside of that is they're 2 of our best defenders, so maybe just thinking that through, that wouldn't be the way to go. Yeah, I think I'll agree with you there, Biff. A backline reshuffle's probably the way to go. Joseph on, Gorbachev to 5'8" seems to be the consensus, Paul, between the cameraman and the other staff. We got up the technical boys. They seem to think that backline reshuffle's the order of the day. What do you think?
Well, I think we're all wrong because coming on is the number 25.
Yeah, Steve Fisher, that is, I think, isn't it? Steve Fisher on.
Well, you're down there, Biff. He just walked straight past you. Where's those glasses?
Steve Fisher's on, mate. I said earlier that Steve Fisher will be coming on. But
no, that is not Steve Fisher. That's Paul Carr. My God, your eyesight's gone.
I've been told by good authority that Paul Carr was not playing today. So there you go.
Paul Carr has taken the field. Why wasn't he put on
first up?
Oh, right. Paul Carr. This is Paul Carr. I mean, Paul's only just managed to qualify. He's only played 5 or 6 games, and unfortunately I've been through work commitments, missed them all. But they tell me, the smarties up the White House tell me this guy is a game breaker. This guy is a dead set match winner. Let's see.
If he plays in the forwards.
Well, he can play anywhere.
I do remember seeing him playing the centres in an early match in the trials, and I thought he had a whale of a game.
Well, there's a great deal of concern down there with young Mudgee Lions. It is a tragedy. The young fella would have been very keen to show what he could do in that last 30 minutes.
It is, but if there's one positive thing we can say about it, it's a knee injury, it's a leg injury or a knee injury of some sort. So we're not worried about spinal injuries or any permanent disability. That's the good thing we can say about it.
Well,
looks like a compression bandage, Paul. Could be a broken bone, I'd say.
As I said, I thought it looked like a broken lower leg.
Yeah, they're putting the pressure bandage on him now. It's to immobilise the bones. Doesn't look good.
Well, Paul Carr, mate, he's come back from injury. He injured his ligaments last week, apparently shoulder ligaments. So I hope it's, well, put it this way, if anybody else is injured, that's it.
I'll make a bit fearless prediction, Biff. I predict this Paul Carr to be the game breaker, to be just what we need. I predict him to pull this one out of the fire for Kenso.
If he plays in the forwards, Ray.
Well, there's 23 minutes to go in this 1989 grand final. We've had a break, approximately 4 minutes now.
We haven't had a prognostication from sideline about the score today. I mean, he usually comes out with these big scores and he's fairly close to the mark.
Yes. Well, I did say 5 to 7 points. Now, look, we're getting a bit pessimistic here. We are leading. We're not coming from behind. We're still in front. Don't forget that. What we've got to do is hold them. We're not coming from behind. That's why we shouldn't be forcing the passes. I said 5 to 7. I'll stick by it.
Right, ready for resumption. Michael Lyon's been carried from the field with that pressure bandage around, and Mascot will play the ball on the halfway.
Yeah, it's a very sorry sight to see young Mudgee. He looks like he's in a great deal of pain as they taking up the tunnel, but the game goes on, and I'm sure he'd wish nothing better than a Kensington win.
Well, early mistake from Mascot there. With that big break, I don't know what stage the tackle count was at, but they had it for 2 rucks and they've turned it over. A Kenso feed here.
As we see, Wayne Memo has gone to 5'8". Paul Carr has gone in a lock.
Well, they've won that scrum against the feed, and a centre from Mascot. He's upfield, coming across. There's the cover defence. Les Tongahai takes him high, but they're inside the 22, Mascot. They're on the boil.
But Kenso's got a good line. They reformed pretty well then. We've got centres out in the back line, but they've got a good defensive line.
They spin at the left-hand side of the paddock. Burn dummies. Tries to get a pass. He gets a pass away.
2 defenders on him. He still gets the ball away.
Well, even this Mascot player, he's wrestling his way further upfield. He's only metres from the line there. Mascot, can they get across the line? Well, has he lost that? Yes.
Yes. Well, Mascot the side starting to feel the pressure now. They're starting to make the unnecessary errors.
Yeah, it's a nice place to make an error, but in the opposition's 22. Unfortunately, Kensington now have got to get way downfield, and here's Gorbachev with the ball.
Just the man to do it too.
He'll get up and play it 15 metres out from the Kensington line. Cleland into dummy half. Where's the hooker? Johnson, he moves into dummy half on this occasion. Picks up the Big Beaver. The Big Beaver hits the line. Up over the 22. He'll get up and play the ball. Johnson into dummy half. They do the crisscross. Picks up the Big Buffer. Big Buffer hits the line. But right around the ankles there was the Mascot 5'8". They come the open side. Mark Kennedy. Memo. Paul Carr. Paul Carr picks up Memo ball. Again. Memo. No room there to move, and he's tackled about 10 metres short of the halfway line. He'll get up and play the ball. Carr into dummy half. Pops up pretty ordinary pass to Cleland. Cleland does well to pick that pass up, but he's got a terrible pass away, and Mascot now come up with the ball. Ridden to the ground there by Sigsworth was Byrne. Just inside Kensington territory, Les Tongahai slams the Mascot fullback to the ground.
Stephen.
But there's a big run here from the Mascot second rower.
Referee Bilton caught Stephen Longbottom offside there in the run of play. He said you're offside, but Dal had no choice but to get involved in that tackle because he was filling in a hole in the line, and he knew he was going to give away a penalty there, but he just had to bring the guy down, and this could see Mascot with a chance to level the scores.
Yes, this could make it 4-all. 20 minutes to go in this grand final.
I think Paul Carr's in a little bit of trouble with his shoulder too, unfortunately. The same shoulder as he hurt last week. He's been clutching it, and could be giving him problems. I just hope he had a needle before he went in, but I doubt he has.
Hey, Tommy's a pretty tough rooster, but if this is a grand final, I think you'll see him playing out time at least.
Let's face it, Ray's got no choice, mate. We've used up all our replacements. The only problem is, though, the ligaments keep the shoulder in.
Well, Kensington have run out of beer, I've been told. Well, that's the worst news we've heard this afternoon.
Well, that's the equivalent of going for the Aspros. The supporters have had heart failure here, and they've gone for the Aspros and drunk all the beer well before full time.
Very bad organisation on the management's part for Kenso.
I'll be fair, Biff, we've got a bumper crowd there. I mean, there's players and supporters I haven't seen for 10 or 15 years at this grand final, and we've got a bumper crowd of supporters. Let's just hope we can do the right thing.
Moves in the Mascot player. Well, I think it's one up, one down.
And Bilton's
No goal.
Negative. He's
No
not a bad
goal.
referee, this Bilton.
I've always said he
All
was
I
an
can
absolute
say-
genius, Bilton.
All I can say is we'll all be stuffed.
Absolute genius. I've got a great deal of respect for this man's ability with the whistle.
Well, they
Burn.
picked out Burn.
Straight to Burn. He unloads to the winger. He heads across field. Chased there by Mark Kennedy, and he finally rides him to the ground just inside Kensington territory. They get up and play the ball, Mascot. They spin it the left-hand side of the paddock, and good pass there from that Mascot player. Got support. Still going, the Mascot players. The lock forward. He wakes his way inside the 22. Mascot, they're making yards. They hit the back line, and they've got numbers out here. Stephen Long.
5-8's come back infield. They had a big chance to score.
Well,
And then Mascot.
That was a try bombed by the 5-8 there, but they've still got the chance here. Burns put the kick straight into...
That's not Sigsworth, I'm a bad judge. That's Ronnie Sigsworth.
Yes, a little slips catch from Sigsworth. Well, that was a try gone bigging there, bombed by the Mascot 5-8. He had an overlap, and he'd elected to go on his own.
That's the sort of game they play. They keep turning that ball back in, one from the ruck, and I'm afraid the stereotyping has definitely cost them a try there, Paul, as we run it out. Good yardage from...
Wayne Edwards. He seems to have recovered from that leg injury he was hobbling with. And there's the big Beaver wrestling his way upfield. They can't put him on the ground, the big fella. We want to see plenty more runs like that from the big fella. Dave Clearland puts the boot to the ball. Comes through, chases it back, but straight down the winger's throat, and the defence is there, and they bury the Mascot winger.
All of a sudden, Kenso seems to be hit with a second life here. They're starting to defend well. They're moving up. They're getting more involved.
Well, they're leading 4 points to 2. There's 17 minutes to go in this match. Here's Byrne, the architect of the Mascot team, but right around the ankles there, Paul Carr.
No power in that tackle at all. I tend to agree with Biff. He's definitely feeling his shoulder.
Well, he's gone for the intercept there, Mark Kennedy. There's the 5-8. Up to the 22.
Paul, Kenso they're making it hard for themselves. Once again, we had no fullback at home, and Dave Clearland clicked short for the sideline from his own half. We've got to kick for field position.
Well,
We're not going to get the ball back from the scrum. We know that. It doesn't have to go out. We just got to get it down the other end of the paddock.
Well, there was Henry Gorbachev there fighting to get into the dummy half spot and take the ball away.
Well, Gorbachev took a nice dive then, but
Yes.
Milton, the experienced campaigner that he is, didn't fall for it.
There's the big buffer. They go to the right-hand side of the paddock, the big Beaver. He takes 3 tacklers to ground with him, gets up, plays the ball. Sigsworth, Memo, puts Dell through a gap, but Dell couldn't handle that ball. It's been knocked back by Mascot.
Yeah, it'll be a Mascot scrum feed.
Well, you never know with Bilton. I've seen him do it the other way around.
Replacement on for Mascot, the 5-8. The Mascot 5-8 paying the penalty for a couple of wrong options. In the last few minutes, he's taken 2 definite wrong options. One definitely costing a try. He's been replaced.
Yes, well, young Gilbert Ferguson
not the
moves.
5-8, sorry.
Yes, it was the 5-8. Young Gilbert Ferguson's moved into 5-8.
Oh, yeah, so it is.
Well, there's a scrum win to Mascot.
Yeah, good bit of scrummaging there. Screwed the scrum well.
Ferguson steps, but out of a tackle there, but finally taken from behind there by Memo. They go to the left-hand side of the paddock. Mascot, but right around the ankles. That'll be Mark Kennedy. Yes, Mark Kennedy, and over the top was Gorbachev. They're only 50 metres out. This pressure that Mascot have been mounting There's Byrne. Byrne will head for the corner. Is he going to score? Can he got the ball down?
I'm just about to say it's looking bad. It's looking bad. Kenso is starting to walk, putting themselves under pressure, and they've paid the price. The one saving grace. Byrne scored this try out wide.
Well, we've laid off him. We've laid off him all
off
day.
him.
There's the result. It's try to Mascot. We've still got 15 minutes to go. We can regroup.
Should be no need to regroup. We put ourselves under any amount of pressure there. Failing to kick out of our own territory. Kicking short for the sidelines. It's just not on. It's a fundamental. We should be kicking for field position. And then, if you didn't learn your lesson in the major semi-final, they got one playmaker only, Mascot. One player to contain. And we haven't been near him. We haven't been within earshot of him all day.
Paul Carr's in big trouble with his shoulder, mate. He's not 100% at all.
Well, we've had 20 minutes in this second half, and Kensington have really been outside their own half. They've been under tremendous pressure, and finally the defence cracked, and Mascot have scored 6 points to 4. They now lead with 14 minutes to go in this grand final.
It's the same old story. Mascot look ordinary when they got the ball. There's no other word for them. They just take the ball one off the ruck, play for field position, and they wait for you. They feed off your mistakes. We're playing right into their hands.
I don't really, what you're saying is quite right, but don't forget, we can come back. We're not beat yet. We're only 2 points behind. Here comes the kick. It'll still be 2 points.
Well, it's a very important kick. 6 points to 4 they lead. Ball in the air.
Looks wide.
Looks as though it's gone to the one up and one down again.
One down, and good old Bilton's ruled against it.
Well, obviously this linesman, he's back Mascot. You
I
can
picked
tell.
that beforehand. He wasn't going to kick that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Flaps. He does wear glasses, that Bengal Lancer, and he's made 2 mistakes now, according to Bilton. Plus the fact he hasn't seen it necessary to come on at all for any of the foul play.
Well, he hasn't even taken his Mascot socks off. There's the kick. We want the chasers down there. They've got to contain them in that 22. Come up with the ball and then see what they can do.
Nice tackle underneath from Mark Kennedy. More of that, Mark, more of that.
The Kenso players, they've got to push themselves now. This is where it comes in. As Bull said, the character. This is where it'll come out in this last 15 minutes.
2 in a row, 3 in a row from Kennedy. Kennedy's trying to lift. He's trying to tow these older players along behind him. Come on, fellas, take a leak out of Kennedy's book. Get with him.
Byrne puts the ball down where they want it. Back down in the Kensington territory.
They've caught Gorbachev out of position too.
He's inside his in-goal area. He just makes it into the field of play. Back there's Les Tonga.
First blunder from Gorbachev. He got caught a little bit shallow, and they found him out of position.
Well, Les Tonga heads across field. He's around one player. He made once again no yards forward, but plenty of yards across field. And here's Parker heading upfield.
Right, it'll be interesting to see what sort of kick they use now. If they're going to start kicking short for the sideline again, they're going to be in all sorts of trouble.
Well, there's Wayne Memo taken nicely right around the ankles, and away from the dummy half spot comes Sigsworth. But he's met there by the Mascot defence. There's 12 minutes to go in this second half. Carr.
Oh, very handy penalty here.
Well, they've got to take the line kick here, try and make as many yards as they can. 6 points to 4 now, Kensington behind.
There's no reason to rush. They've got the clock there. We've still got 10 minutes. Wasn't much yardage made there, unfortunately.
Well, it was a pretty ordinary kick from Youngdale. But Kensington have got the ball. Tonga takes it up towards the halfway mark. He's just short of the halfway. The big beaver. He heads across field. Once again, they...
Takes a lot of steam out of the defence, Dennis.
Yeah, 2 or 3 tacklers to drag him to the ground. They do the wrap around. Johnson picks up Carr. Carr shows the ball. Dummies and eventually takes the tackle. Right around the ankles, there's Byrne.
Very strong lad, this Carr. He's been pulled down. Bilton said no.
Johnson, Cleland, Memo, Longbottom. Picks up Parker. Parker taken nicely there. Good tackle there by Gilbert Ferguson.
Good defence from both centres. They finished off Stephen as well, even though he got rid of the ball.
Here's Gorbachev coming onto the ball. Dave Cleland flashing up on the outside, but couldn't get the ball away. Here they come, the open side.
Nice
Good
ball
pass
from
there to
Memo.
Stephen Longbottom. Longbottom's got Mark Kennedy. Mark Kennedy's got support.
Yes.
He floats it out to, oh, Memo stuck, was it Parker stuck the hand
Parker.
out?
You can't blame Parker for
No.
that. He didn't realise, but if he'd only let that ball go, it was coming right into Les Tonga-High's arms with an open try line in front of him. Something tells me fate's taken a hand here.
Well, they've got to keep the Les.
Carr getting up very clutching that shoulder.
They've got to keep them down here inside the 22. Come on, Kensington defence.
Going to be a tall order with Carr a virtual passenger in defence now. He's
Well,
looking
they
towards
might
the
have to
bench.
look him out, put him out wide, move Les Tonga in closer, or Wayne Edwards possibly. Wayne Edwards would be the answer.
I think Tonga-High'd be the answer. He's a big punishing fella and he's playing like a second rower anyway.
Gorbachev back there to take that bit. Look at the defence there from Mascot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players back there.
And he's lost the
And he's
ball.
pinched the ball. Well, Mascot on the attack.
Notice Mascot, Paul, they kick deep. They kick for field position. They're not trying to find touch lines. And this is what's bringing them, this is what kept them in the game. It's what put them in front. And if Kenso are not very careful, it's what's going to lose Kenso the grand final. No, 8 minutes to go.
8 minutes to go, and Byrne, once again, he heads across field, but this time he's taken by Robert Johnson. They're still only 22 metres out, Mascot. They've still got the ball. They ping it wide.
Plenty of defence
Stephen
there.
Longbottom comes over and he wraps up his opposite number.
That's 3.
Away from the dummy half spot comes the Mascot winner.
Again, this Mascot game, very stereotype football. Nothing in it. They're just hanging around down here waiting for their clever little playmaker to do something.
And there's the field goal attempt.
Well, that's
7
okay.
points to 4.
That only puts us 3 points behind. We're going to end up down in their territory as long as we can keep them down there.
Correct tactics also from Mascot. Biff soaks up a bit of time. They get the ball back. We can't win without the ball. They'll just play 6 tight tackles and then roof the ball down the other end of the field. It'll be 2 or 3 minutes before we get a chance of, before we get a sniff of the ball again.
Paul Carr's gone, mate. His shoulders RS.
Yes, he doesn't look well.
He's still in the line. That's the main thing. He's still in the line. Chase it out! Chase! Well, it's a pressure-packed 10 minutes we're in for here. Even the commentators are getting a bit excited.
We're getting a lot friggin' excited, I tell you. We've only got 7 minutes to go. We're right down 3 points. Mascot have got the ball just outside their own 22.
A good tackle from Big Dennis, driving their big forward back there. I sense Kenso are gearing up for a last throw of the dice here. The intensity's come back into the forwards now. Mascot having trouble making yards for a change. We'll see the downtown here from Byrne.
Yes, he's put the boot to the ball. Back there's Gorbachev and Wayne Edwards.
Wicked bounce.
Terrible
Wayne
bounce.
Edwards very casually picks it
Well,
up.
he's inside the 5. Both those players inside the 5, yes. And oh, look at Bilton's picked it up. I don't believe it.
Yeah, a good bit of refereeing from Bilton there.
Got a fine touch as far down into Mascot territory as they can.
That's right, Paul. This is where we've got to make the yardage and capitalise from there. There's still a try on for Kenso yet.
That looks like a better kick.
That's a great kick.
30 metres out.
And not much angle to work with. He gained 35 metres there.
Wayne Edwards heads upfield, but he's taken there. Oh, the Mascot defence equal to the task again. Away from the dummy half spot comes Sigsworth. They're working here for field position now. What can they do? They do the crisscross. They pick up the big beaver, heading straight up the centre of the paddock. A try. That's what they need. 4 points. They hit the back line this time. Memo picks up Parker. Parker stumbles.
Get up, Parker.
Can you get up, son? Oh, my God, Father, I don't believe it. There was a try gone begging.
Get up, you mean, yeah.
Well, Mascot laying all over him.
Begging.
Away from the dummy half spot goes Carr. Carr heads for the line. Is he strong enough to get over? No, he can't quite make it. It's the last tackle. Kenso, can you get in?
I'd like to see that on the replay. I don't think we used up 6 tackles there.
Picks up Tonga-High. Tonga-High gets a pass on to Mark Kennedy.
Yeah, good work from Kennedy.
It out the back.
Great work from Kennedy.
Out there, Wayne Edwards. Wayne Edwards out for the corner. He scored. I don't believe it.
Mark Kennedy. Mark Kennedy was pinned. He had the other player had his arms around him. Kennedy just threw the ball away.
Beautiful.
And I told you, there was a try on for Kenso with 5 minutes to go.
Ah, good stuff. That's good stuff. Yes,
Oh!
was Parker going to hold his feet and score 2 rucks previous? Was Carr going to get the ball down after he got pushed back? Was Kennedy going to get rid of it on 6? I'll tell a man he was. He threw it away, and I don't know who picked it up, got a wide ball out to Wayne Edwards. What a great try.
Well, what guts was
a
Paul
great
Carr
try.
got too. Paul Carr carrying an injured shoulder. His shoulder's gone, and he's gone over. Well, Dilly's trying to go for a try. As I said before, there's a try for Kenso. We're there.
Mark Kennedy squeezed that ball away. That was the telling factor in that try. He squeezed the ball out, scooped up, spun out to Wayne Edwards on the wing, and Wayne Edwards, Kensington's Eric Growth, over in the corner.
Yeah, good point made by one of the technicians, Paul. It's probably the only time we've had an attacking raid in the second half. The only time we've been in their quarter, we've scored a try.
As I said, Raymond, at the 20-minute mark in this half, we had spent very, very little time in Mascot's half. But still, there's some 4 minutes to go in this match. We lead by the single point. The game is not won yet.
Actually, looking at the clock, I don't think it's stopped yet. There seems to be 6 minutes to go.
No, the referee's time signal out, mate. The clock has stopped.
Yeah, what I meant was, you know, when they stop the clock for the last 5-minute countdown, it looks like 6 minutes left on the clock.
Stephen Longwater moves in for a very important kick. That one, is it? No way, no. Well to the left.
Stephen not
8 points to 7.
Well, 8-7, 17-16. We go back to the major, Sammy, a point in it. This time Kenso's a point in front.
What we've got to do is just kick it back downtown, leave the ball down there, their territory.
Well, I don't think I'll see this last few minutes out. My heart is pounding at the moment.
I'm worried, Biff. I'm worried, Paul, about this kicking game of ours. It hasn't been on today. We haven't been on with our kicking game. Fundamentally, it's been wrong. We've been kicking to the wrong positions, and usually those things don't change for no good reason. Let's hope they do.
Well, there's Sigsworth, takes a high pass. They've got to hang on to this, and then bang, as you said, Biff, downtown with the ball.
What are they going to do? Are they going to try and close up for the last 5?
No, they're going to throw it around. Paul Carr takes it upfield. Hang on to the ball, for God's sake.
That was a great pass. That was a great pass. I mean, probably not what was called for, but by gee, it was a good ball.
Well, Johnson's down injured.
Gorbachev with a good yardage gain.
A
try.
In the background.
That's Johnson.
Stephen Longbottom also looks like he's got the staggers, but Mark Kennedy, is it, or is that
Sigsworth?
Sigsworth once again. What a great game Ronnie Sigsworth's
had. He has had a good game. He's had a tradesman's game today.
There, Kensington go for the field goal, but
it hasn't gone dead. There's a chaser, and it's got to be a
Mark Kennedy. A great work from Mark Kennedy.
Well, another good piece of work from Kennedy. His youth and enthusiasm's coming out in this last 5 minutes.
Well, if we win this one, if we get away with it, Mark Kennedy can take a bow.
And you watch for another try for Kenso coming up.
Well, I don't care if they don't score another try as long as Mascot don't get any more points on the board.
I want to see 6 more line dropouts.
Wayne Memo takes it up to the 22. Kensington leading 8 points to 7. There's about 3 minutes on the clock.
Pretty heavy shower just coming over the ground, Paul. This could be significant.
Well, Wayne Memo very slow to get up.
Yeah, referee's taking the ball across and let play go on.
Here's Sigsworth still going at 100 mile an hour, still going at the same pace as when he started the match. Here comes the big buffer. He takes it up, takes on the Mascot defence. They don't have to do anything fancy.
Mascot taking on a definite air of a beaten side. They're starting to walk in defence.
Well, let's hope they do. The big beaver heads towards the try line. The last tackle. Can they get across the line?
Don't kick is my word. Don't kick.
Johnson
Kenso,
in the dummy half. Johnson puts a little kick through. Well, he's run it over the dead ball line.
We'll get it back.
He's run it over. Another line drop out. There's only 2 minutes to go on the clock. There's about 30 seconds to go in my heart. I don't think I can handle this.
The referee never called that ball over before. It was set over by a Mascot player.
Well, there's a little short one. It's lost there by the big buffer. He's knocked out cold by the look of it.
Yeah, there's a head clash, Paul, and he didn't release that ball until he didn't faint. He was knocked out. So we can't be too critical, but what we've got
There's a ball spilled out.
Well, Burns knocked that on.
There's Mark Kennedy still going. Burns gets a one-hander away.
Kennedy's fanning. Mark Kennedy's
Mascot, they've got the ball. There's only a minute and a half to go. They spin it off one off the ruck. Big tackle there from the big beaver.
They're really... They're putting it on the line now,
Ben.
Kenso's forwards. There's no thought of self-preservation there. There's plenty of venom in these tackles.
I can't
Well,
control
they've got to put
myself.
on
There's
here
about a
to
minute to go
defend
on the
yourself,
clock.
Kenzo.
They're a point behind
Self-destruct
Mascot.
has taken
Byrne's
time.
got the ball. He's got it on the jaw. They're in the clear. Gilbert Ferguson.
Gorbachev's got
got the winger. Has he got the winger? No! No! Mascot have scored. Well, I'm speechless. Well, I got nothing to say. Mascot have won it. Mascot have won it.
2 minutes on the clock. Mascot will hit a 3-point lead. 11 points to 8. 2 minutes on the clock. Well, they've torn the heart and soul out of Kenso close to the rucks. That's where they made that break again. Up the blind side. Someone put the centre away with a beautiful ball. Paul, I think that's the ball game. 2 minutes to go.
Very hard to come back from there, Raymond. I'm shattered. Absolutely shattered.
Well, that's a great pity because Mark Kennedy in particular was leading the forwards. The forwards were up. It took them 3/4 of the game to get that sort of commitment that the coach was looking for, but I certainly thought they had it wrapped up. Bad luck, a bit of individual play. I wonder was it Byrne that put the centre away? I don't know who it was.
Yes, it was Byrne, put the centre straight through. Gilbert Ferguson, a great run from Gilbert Ferguson. He had the winger outside him, and Gorbachev with two players coming at him. He was in no man's land. There was no chance of him of taking the winger in the end.
Well, you can put this grand final, Mascot can put this grand final down to win to one Byrne, the halfback. Kenso, on the other hand, have not been near him all day. And if you're right, if it was Byrne that put the centre away there, he's devastated us once again. He lines the kick up. It's looking good in the air. It's coming around. He's missed it. 1 minute, Paul. 1 minute.
There's a minute left on the clock. To pull this out would be an absolute miracle. I don't think they've got the time.
Well, by rights, we shouldn't even see the ball before the...
well, Mascot, they'll just soak up the 6 tackles. There's about 30 seconds to go on the clock.
Cleo's got to try something here. He's got to kick short, or he's got to... Yeah,
Don't worry about
kick short, I think. No, they're not. They're letting the ball lay down. They've got to find some way of getting the ball back.
A knock-on would be lovely. No knock-on. Mascot, they know they've only got to hang on to the ball for 6 tackles. Well, I don't know. I'm shattered. I can't believe it. We led there by the point. There's the bell, is it? Yes, there's the bell. Mascot, come out winners. 11 points to 8. A very close grand final. Well, it was anyone's game right up to the last minute. Mascot pulled out a try in the last couple of minutes. Some very dejected boys there in the Kensington camp. There can only be one winner, and unfortunately, it was Mascot. Sideline, Biff.
Got nothing to say, Paul. I commiserate with Kenso, Bull, and the officials from the A grade. We just had to snatch them under our nose. What can you say this next year?
Yes, each and every one of the boys in the red and white, they can feel proud. They didn't give up for one moment there. A couple of players injured, forced to make 4 replacements. Well, they tried, and there was just that last little bit of individual brilliance by Byrne and Gilbert Ferguson that had grabbed the grand final from the boys in that last minute. Stinky Colin.
Yeah, not much to add, Paul, only that give credit to Kenso. They surged in the last 15 minutes. They put the surge in. They did enough to win the game, and as you said, it was just through the individual skills of that halfback from Mascot that pulled the game out from under our nose once again.
Well, that's it for 89. On behalf of Narc's nationwide network of sport, Stinky Corlin, thank you for your participation throughout the year. And Sideline Biff the Gay, thank you for your efforts throughout the year. Everyone here in the red and white, very disappointed, but still, we'll be back bigger and better in 1990. On behalf of Narc's nationwide network of sport, good evening.